Hello, this is your Intel girl from the spirit world. Now, this is in connection with the other videos I've been doing. This is talking about the bewitching hour. How it's important to understand that there's high demonic activity as well as witchcraft activity and the supernatural, paranormal, whatever you want to call it. It happens between 12 a.m., midnight, until 5 a.m. in the morning. This is when all the witches do their seances, their conjurings, their spellcasters, when demons are conspiring, they're plotting, they're scheming. A lot of things are happening in that time. And so if you're ever getting up early in the morning for some odd reason, this is the time to discern what's going on. Now, because of the experiences I've had with root works and with, witchcraft attacks and other even demonic attacks, I would always happen to wake up during those hours, either 3 in the morning, 4, sometimes even 1 in the morning. And that's when I was able to discern if, the enemy was trying to attack me or witches had conjured something up. And I would always feel it in my head or discern that something wasn't right. Like one particular time, and I'll talk about this video another time, where I discerned something wasn't right. I didn't feel anything in my head, no afflictions, nothing to try to attack, no roots, no spells, no hexes, but I felt something, discerned something was not of God. Come to find out, there was a whole nother spirit that had tried to come upon me with my one encounter with someone else at a school, nonetheless. We'll get more into that later on. But spirits can transfer and follow, and sometimes they will follow and come unawares. Now, when it comes to witchcraft and root work, especially those who are operating heavily in it, they will release spirits to come attack you. They also will use chalices, amulets, chicken feet, you name it, Book of the Dead, spell books, whatever they can use, sage, crystals, whatever they can use to conjure up spirits or to release a curse upon you or a hex or a spell. And they have even used roots, actual roots like rhubarb. You actually go in these stores. And I'm talking about not the, bona fide real witches. I'm talking about the ones perpetrating fronts in the ministry. Even in schools, I've had this experience. People that are supposed to be doing good for other folks, but in the end where they're doing, witchcraft, new age cult practices in their, pastime. So I'm talking about those who are playing both fields. Not the bona fide ones. Not the ones that got their own covens and have any dealings with Christian folks or have any dealings with us, period. We're talking about the ones that are dealing with it and they're coming against you, especially in ministry. A lot of mine came from ministry. So during that time, discern what's going on, because many of our attacks are when we're sleeping. The devil don't play fair, and neither do witches. This is when they're doing their seances, their demonic intercession, especially they have a target in mind, and you are the target. So they will pray against you, release a spell against you, release something to afflict you, and you wake up wondering what's going on. And I will always get my type of attacks in this time. I'll be sleeping just fine, but then when I wake up in these bewitching hours, that's why it's important, if God leads you to pray, pray in those times. Shut in those times so God can, reveal to you what's going on. And there's been many instances for this past month or even this past year or so, and years before that, where I have waken up and had to rebuke and bind up counts of the enemy coming against me, attacking, afflicting, because the higher you go in God, the more the threat you are. And yes, they're going to come and buffet you. They're going to come against you. They're going to plot and scheme. They're going to afflict your weak areas in your body, weak areas in your finances, weak any areas. Or they just don't play. They play unfair and dirty. And most of the time, they try to attack while you sleep, while you're vulnerable. You may be even taken into a dream or a realm where they'll try to attack you. I've had some actually manifest themselves in a dream, in a realm, and try to keep me from rebuking them. So, it is important to be watchful in prayer. If you're alert to wake up at that time, pray. If you're alert, you get up at that time, just gonna go use the restroom. Discern what's going on. Because there's a lot of high demonic activity. That's why they have prayer watches. Demons have their own time where they know they're going to be conjuring up stuff while people are asleep, playing unfair and dirty. But witches, especially ones operating in church, hoodoos and root workers, and sorcerers and wizards and warlocks in the church. I'm not talking about the ones, the bona fide ones. Not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that are in the church. And they doing demonic seances and using the Ouija board to conjure up a spirit to come against you. Those movies are real. So it's important to realize they will come in any form of fashion during those hours. So be more watchful and prayerful. Because a lot of my deliverance, a lot of my intercepting and intervening on an attack that was coming on and getting worse and worse. And also, sometimes you're going to have to take some days off, if you can, from work to recover. So those last 2 videos, I had just overcame a root that had been in me for a long, long time. Didn't realize it until I saw a vision of it in my head. Saw actually what it was doing is black in the back of my head, causing constriction. People literally cause you to have strokes, aneurysm, heart attacks, whatever they can do to afflict you and destroy you and literally kill you. And I had to and it had already, the root had all the way went from my head, the back of my head, all around my head, all the way down to my spinal area, even where my coccyx, that's your tailbone. It had been rooted all the way in, intertwined. And it took me, days and days to recover from it. But those videos, that's when I had just been dealing with. So a lot of these things I'm telling you about is not for me just Googling some stuff and say, I'm just going to talk about it. This is from life experiences. So if you have any concerns or any questions, feel free to inbox me. I'm not doing counseling. I'll do a Q&A later on. If you all need you want a Q&A live about, different things that happen to you, please put in the comment. Anything that you're dealing with, please put in the comment, and I'll feel free to answer it. So continue to, get the intel from Michelle. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.